What's going on, everybody? It's time for a brand new video. I know it's been a couple weeks since the last one, and I did say that this is a thing that may end up happening, but I feel like going forward I might be able to possibly put this channel back on track for the weekly drops, and we've been really like climbing in subs, which is pretty wild, and I'm extremely grateful for that, for everybody that's been subbing lately. We're almost to like 400 subs. I think we're less than like 40 subs away from 400, and I want to show you all how much that means to me, and I want to try to get back on track with the weekly videos. Today, this week, we are going to be doing something that I started a while ago, which is kind of like talking about like certain things that I've been reading, like genre specific. And the first video I did in this kind of a series was a rom-com video. I've been reading rom-com manga. So now today I've been reading lewd manga. So that's going to be today's topic. And then another time around, I'm going to be doing these like every other, or not every other video, but I'm going to be doing these every so often, maybe every couple of months. I'll do a new one of these about a different kind of genre, and it just felt right because I picked up a bunch of like weird lewd stuff. I've been picking up like a bunch of just like random weird lewd stuff recently, and it wasn't really planned. It just kind of like fell into place because I was like, dude, I have like all these random lewd volumes of manga. I should do an I've been reading lewd manga video. So I don't want to waste too much time on the intro, so let's do this. This is I've been reading lewd manga. So there isn't going to be much of an order to this. I just had been picking up different things, and I was actually gonna pick up another manga series that was like, it's called like This Is Weird or something, and this is really weird. I've been reincarnated in another world as a girl or something like that, and I'd ordered that manga, and for whatever reason, like, it was shipped to me, and somewhere in transit, it ended up getting shipped back to Amazon. I don't know why. I don't know why that happened. It doesn't make any sense. But I was really looking forward to having that one, to include that one in this video, but that's not going to happen. Though I think I ended up replacing that with another series. But this is one of the series that I was going to read as a part of that video, a part of this video. This is a series called The Witches of Adamas. And this is insane. Like, this story is legitimately insane. It is extremely lewd. So that's one thing that I really wanted to carry on in this series, in this kind of a video, is like, if I'm going to do something, it's got to be like really over the top. But I didn't want to go and pick up things that I'd already read, or like talk about things again that I'd already talked about. Like, I did a video already about Destiny Lovers like a really long time ago. I think about a year ago now at this point. I did a video about Destiny Lovers, and I didn't want to talk about that again, so I didn't want to go back over things that I already went over. There's just certain series that like I didn't want to. I'd owned Parallel Paradise, and I got rid of it because I didn't like it. I didn't think it was that good, and I didn't bother to try to continue it. Otherwise, I would have included that in this video, because that is like lewd overload, and things like Redo of Healer. I don't know if that has an English adaptation or whatever manga wise, but I did read Witches of Adamas, and yeah, this story is insane. And just so we're clear, this is for the most part an 18 plus video, because yeah, I don't want anybody's parents coming and attacking me on YouTube, saying that like I'm showing their kids lewd or explicit things. Yeah, this is definitely like an 18 plus video, and this is 100% an 18 plus manga, as it is about a dude that nuts diamonds. So yeah, basically our lead boy in this manga ejaculates diamonds, and there is this whole thing with these girls that are essentially like witches or whatever, and they can sense that this dude ejaculates diamonds, and they want them diamonds, so they'll do whatever it takes to get their diamonds, like Mr. Freeze. I want my diamonds. And it's like, I want to show you stuff, but like I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to show you anything like inappropriate, because there is like something inappropriate going on in this manga. Like every 2 to 3 pages, there's something like really illicit and really lewd. I'd like to know if you guys are into like, or super into like lewd manga, or if there's anything that you've been reading. I'm not really like super duper into it. I was just, since I started reading some of it because like I wanted to just branch out a little bit and read different stuff, I ended up reading like a bunch of lewd manga, and I read most of it for this video, and I'm probably not going to go too much crazier, like, you know, buying like super raunchy lewd stuff. But this one right here, like pretty much like right off the bat, like within the first page, there's already stuff going on. And like I'd heard the same thing about like, do you like big girls, like that too, like right off the bat, like within like the first like 10 pages, the lead, and that's already having sex. So there's definitely like a market, you know, an audience for this sort of material. I'm not really like that person, though. I mean, like I have like a whole bunch of Prison School behind me, and I've got Raw Hero, which is right beside it, both by the same dude, Akira Hiramoto, and there is definitely like an audience for this sort of thing. And I mean, I'm like a really open-minded kind of a person. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you're into, that's cool with me. I'm not gonna hate. And yeah, this 100% goes off the rails into the lewd territory, and there is some really risky things going on, and there's parts of it like I had like the same feeling when I read Destiny Lovers like last year, or more than that, maybe like over a year ago, where I was just like, this essentially is bordering hentai. Like this is so close to being hentai without actually like being hentai. It's so difficult to show things from this manga without getting myself in trouble. But yeah, I'm trying to like show you things, to show you like the artwork, because like I think some of these actually have like solid artwork, but the stories are like super perverted. And I think that if you have like a super perverted story, but the artwork is good, then that's a plus. And that's something that I was also going for. I didn't want to just go for like super raunchy stuff that had like a paper thin plot or whatever, though this in a sense, you know, falls. My buddy over here my dog is over here having nightmares or something. I just had to check on my puppers. He was having, I think he was having conniptions over there. He was like freaking out. I think he's like having some crazy dreams. But yeah, I mean, I do recommend this if you are a fan of people who ejaculate diamonds, and you know, the girls that are after said dude because they want them diamonds, and they want to use them diamonds to buy nice things like jewelry and such. And the twist in this is that whenever this dude ejaculates diamonds, he loses time off of his lifespan. So yeah, pretty much if he you know, whacks it, he's taking time off of his life. Yeah, so pretty much he's got to be like 40 days and nights, or whatever that movie was called with Josh Hartnett, where he can't touch himself at all, or he risks dying. So yeah, check this out if you are a fan of the lewdness. Alright, so this manga has like a really weird title. So this is I'm the Hero, but the Demon Lord is also me. And this is one of those series that just has like one of those extremely long names that like it's just long for no apparent reason at all, just because, you know, reasons. It's like a light novel title, you know, where it's just like 20 words for no reason at all. Like, what is that one? I'm a spider, so what, or something. I got reincarnated as a spider, so what, or whatever. You know, just like these random like super long titles that don't make any sense, just really random. And that's kind of like what this one is. And this is one of those things that like it's slowly starting to turn into a harem. So pretty much it's about this dude who is, I'm trying to like see if I can show you anything from this, but that dude right there is living essentially like two lives. Like he was just minding his own business. His dad, his grandfather, whatever, his grandfather owns like a bathhouse, and he and his dad work at this bathhouse with his grandfather. And Out of nowhere, just some random day, this girl breaks through the ceiling of the bathhouse and tells him he is the hero. And then like 2 minutes later, another girl comes into the bathhouse, like breaks through the same ceiling into the bathhouse, and now she's telling him that he is the demon lord. So now both of these girls are vying, to get this dude to be like her champion, and they both do like weird lewd things to try to convince him to be the champion, though the one who's more explicit about it is the demon girl, which should be pretty evident. It comes with the territory, given that she's a demon. She's way more knowledgeable about that sort of thing than this girl right here, who is like kind of I guess like ditzy. She's like super ditzy and like doesn't really know what's going on, really innocent like. And the demon girl is much more rash than she is, and it's not terrible. I feel like Adamas Witches is way worse. This one does have like a lot of loose stuff going on. There's a lot of toplessness. Same with like Witches of Adamas. There's a lot of like toplessness or whatever, and it never gets to the point where it's becoming hentai. Though that one I feel like got a lot closer to turning into hentai than this one has. And I'm trying to like, every time I show you anything, I'm trying to be careful of, how I show, like what I show you. But this one has like not terrible artwork. That's the biggest thing for me. Like looking at these is that the artwork isn't bad, and I need the artwork to be good. Like if I'm gonna read a story, like I need to like the artwork. If I don't like the artwork, if it's like I can't just read like lewd manga. Like, there has to be at least decent artwork, because being lewd manga, for the most part, I already know that the story is going to be, like, paper thin, because it's not really about the story. It's about, showing these scantily clad girls or whatever, or, showing, like, the super edgy stuff or whatever it may be, whether you're into the straight, kind of lewd stuff, or into your maybe more into, like, the yaoi or, like, yuri kind of lewd, manga, whatever you may personally enjoy. I'm not really into lewd manga. It's not really something that I go for. So like I rolled my eyes, several times throughout this and throughout like Witches of Adamas, where these girls are like throwing themselves at these dudes that are kind of like doofuses. And I kind of talked about this as well in my rom-com video, where I was kind of taking a shit all over like rom-com pro tags, where they're just like the most basic dudes out that have like zero personality, and these girls are just like throwing themselves at them for like no apparent reason. And then it's kind of like the same deal with this dude. There's like legitimately nothing particularly special about him. Like he's average Joe, and yeah, same deal. Girls just like throw themselves at him, and in this case, because he is both the demon lord and the hero. And I won't explain, why he's both at the same time, in case you do want to read this for yourself. And I'm not here to like go crazy spoiling the stories that I talk about. Yeah, it's not terrible. I picked up all of it. I picked up all 4 volumes because it's only 4 volumes deep. And yeah, it's lewd, but it's actually really cute, and it's self-aware. But my one gripe is that it's self-aware, but it still does the things that it's self-aware about. So it's kind of like, well, it's like if you know that this is a trope, then why are you doing it? It's like maybe go above it and create something new, within the genre. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think anybody's really trying to reinvent the wheel. Everybody's just going to do the same thing forever and ever. They're just going to do the same thing in perpetuity, because why not? Why change the thing when you can make fun of it in your manga and say like, hey, how everybody else is doing this thing, we're going to do it too, but we're going to make fun of the fact that we're doing it instead of, just doing something else. But hey, who am I? I'm just some dude who talks shit on the internet. So yeah, this is I am the hero, but the demon lord is also me. Let's talk about GIGANT. I am a huge Hiroya Oku fan. I do not own Inuyashiki for whatever reason, but one day I'm legit just going to buy all of Inuyashiki in one go. Just buy the whole damn manga and then take like 2 years to read it and then do a video about it at some point. But I do have, as you can see, I have Gantz. I have a lot of Gantz. I have Gantz volumes 1 through 10. That's what is available currently in these omnibus volumes. I never got the single volumes of it or whatever, that like all these dust particles everywhere. You know, like the other Gantz volumes that which I should have picked up, because I started reading Gantz like many years ago at this point. I think like 10 years ago almost at this point I started reading Gantz. I've known about Gantz forever, man. Like I got into Gantz when I was like 17, 18. Like I used to watch it on like sites and whatever. I used to watch it on sites, and I watched all of it, and then eventually I got my hands on the DVD set of the series, of the anime, and I found out that it keeps going, that it doesn't just end where the anime ends. And in case you've never seen Gantz and you want to watch it, or you want to read the manga, if you've never read the manga or whatever, I won't spoil it, even though it's like super duper old. I think it's like more than 20 years old at this point. But just in case, yeah, like in case you want to read it, you know, I won't spoil any part of Gantz for anybody. But this is Hiroya Oku's. I think he's still writing it. I'm not sure, because I know it's currently still releasing in English, and I don't have the latest volume yet. I stopped collecting them because I haven't read like the last 2 volumes of Gigant. But the reason that it's in this video is that this manga is extremely lewd, and this character right here looks a hell of a lot like Shibuya Kaho, and Shibuya Kaho actually cosplayed as Miho. I think that's this character's name. I think her name is like Miho or something like that, or Chiyo, or I can't remember what her name is in the manga. But there's like some really kind of over the top things going on. There's like a whole volume, I think it's like volume 5 or volume 6 or something, where the whole volume is just like panting, and this chick and the other lead having sex. That's like the whole chapter. Like that was the point where like I was gonna do a video about this, and I was gonna do a video just about Gigant, and I got to that part where it's like the 2 leads. I think it's like volume 5 or something like that, and it's just the 2 leads like having sex the whole volume. It's just like panting and having sex, and there was like literally like no character development, nothing at all going on other than that. It's just like, it's like, dude, we just read 200 pages of people panting, and that's kind of the point where I was like, you know what, I don't think I need to do this video after all. I recorded my intro, my outro for it, and I just decided like there's not enough, you know, here that I can, you know, make a video about. And maybe I could have done it, you know, because I would just have gone on about the fact that it is nothing but sex. It's super lewd, and then, you know, one of the leads is a young ass dude. One of the leads is like 16 or something years old, and so those are our leads right there. He's, I think, yeah, like 16 years old, and she is like 26 or 24 or something. She is also a porn star. So this chick right here does pornography, and that's pretty much the whole thing. She becomes giant. She gets like a wristwatch type of thing, you know, on her arm, on her. I think it's not there. I thought it was gonna be on the. Ooh, gotta be careful with what I show you. I can't find it, but yeah, like this is the manga, and you know, his Hiroya Oku's like style is pretty prevalent in these panels, and like he really uses a lot of like CGI work. Like you can see, you know, his appreciation, and his, you know, you can see that Hiroya Oku really likes to use like CGI and whatnot when he does these things, and it was pretty prevalent in Gantz as well. Like the latter part of Gantz was like super like CGI heavy. And I feel like overall, like I think Gantz is a far superior story to this. This is, for the most part, just extremely lewd. I mean, I don't want to write it off and say that it isn't, you know, it doesn't have parts of it that aren't interesting. Because meanwhile, like, you know, while she does porn and, you know, she's dating a dude who's 16, but once she starts dating the 16-year-old dude, she stops doing the porn, which, you know, is at least a good thing. You know, that she stopped doing porn when she started dating the 16-year-old dude. But there's like an alien invasion, an alien threat, you know, much like there was in Gantz, where like, well, when she becomes, you know, when she becomes huge, she like takes on aliens, but when she fights them like bare-assed. Like she's completely naked as she's fighting these aliens, and it's really cool the way that you know, Hiroya Oku uses like social media and whatnot as a tool, as like a tool that these aliens essentially use to determine like the outcome and the fate of humanity within this story, and it reminded me of Black Mirror. There's this episode of Black Mirror where people vote on, like who will die for whatever reason, like people who are super hated, like essentially like cancel culture, but it's like if cancel culture had the ability to like actually kill people. And that's what like this manga, I won't go too much into it. Like again, I don't want to spoil too much of this for you, because there's a lot of things I actually really like about the story, like that. I really like that a lot, and I like some of the characters in it. You'll meet some characters later on that are like really goofy, but they're hilarious, and they're definitely like signature like Hiroya Oku characters, where they're supposed like really strong. They're like super strong, but at the same time they're like really goofy, and they do really stupid things. Yeah, I mean, this is overall not a terrible manga. There's a lot of like nudity, a lot of like sex stuff going on. Not for anyone underage, even though one of the leads is underage. So that is extremely questionable. I mean, yeah, I really don't get why he had to be 16. I don't know why they couldn't have just made him like 18 years old or something, but you know what? I'm not the one writing it. I'm just a dude who read it and who wanted to do a video about it, but ultimately decided to just do it in a segment about lewd manga instead. And yeah, I'm gonna keep reading it. I've read like 8 volumes of it, I think, at this point. And parts of it later on actually do get a lot better. It stops kind of being just like an excuse to show like big boobs or whatever. It does kind of turn into like a more serious story. And there's like a whole section that's told without any words at all being said. But it's like a really serious section that I really enjoyed a lot. And it shows both leads, like going through like a bunch of different things as a new imminent threat is coming, to destroy Tokyo. There is different elements that are like really weird, and it's like, how the hell is this happening? And there's a part involving like giant kids, and it's insane. And there's parts of it that are legitimately like really kind of creepy. So I think it's definitely worth checking out if you are a fan of like Hiroya Oku and you haven't read it yet, because yeah, it does get a lot better. There are parts of it that are a bit, I could do without this, but for the most part I think it is, a decent read, and the fact that I've read like 8 volumes of it, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. So that's GIGANT. Alright, we are drawing closer to the end. Now, this is Akira Hiramoto's Raw Hero. Akira Hiramoto's Raw Hero. So this is possibly one of the best manga series I've ever read. I haven't finished it yet. I think I have to read like 2 more volumes. It's only like 6 volumes long, but it is wild. Like, this story is so goddamned over the top, and I like that he, completed this in 6 volumes. I feel like the biggest complaint that people had with Prison School is that it just went on for way too long, and towards the end of it, it started to just like bore the hell out of everybody. If you're snoring in this video, my dog is in the corner over here, and he is snoring up a storm, so you're probably going to hear that in the audio. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up in the audio. but yeah, I mean, if I was going to recommend you anything out of this whole lot, like if I had to pick one of these 5 and say like, yes, read this one, it's going to be Raw Hero, especially for just like really lewd, degenerate manga. This right here takes the cake. This takes every cake. Like, I would recommend this to people just because, you know what I mean? Even if you're not into lewd manga, but more than anything, I would recommend it to you if you just like raunchy stuff. That's probably like more than anything who I'm going to recommend this to, is people that like enjoy really like cringy, raunchy, just over the top stuff. And this manga is, I just love Akira Hiramoto's artwork, and I want to show you stuff, but like, this is another case too where like I have to be really careful, like with what I show you. I don't know if I want to tell you too much about it, because that might ruin your experience with it. So I won't say too much about it, but what I will say is that it involves cross-dressing, and it involves cross-dressing in a really screwed up way. And it leads to some pretty questionable things. And this isn't a person that like, cross dresses, like this isn't it's not making fun of people that cross dress or whatever that are into that, and it's definitely not making fun of this guy, this dude over here snoring up a storm. It's not. My guy is snoring up a storm. It's not making fun of like people that cross dress. It's like more than anything to me. It's just it's kind of giving you the lengths that this dude would go to like, you know, provide for his family, that he does dress up like a woman to complete a job that he's getting paid to do, while at the same time trying to keep that part of his life, you know, hidden from the same family that he's trying to care for and raise and whatever. And there's like a bunch of characters involved in the story, and it gets so over the top. It's so violent too. Like parts of it are like extremely violent, but for the most part, it's hilarious. Like it's so funny, just the things that happen, and like the cross-dressing part of it's taken, like I think it's taken pretty seriously. Where like it's not made fun of. You know, the fact that he does this, it's not made fun of at all, and he doesn't, you know, take it lightly. He takes it pretty seriously. So like, yeah, for people that, you know, that are into that sort of thing, you know, I don't think that this is taking that, you know, and making fun of it. And it's obvious, and it's definitely not making fun of trans people in any way. I don't think, like, I haven't seen, like, as far as I know, I don't think I've seen any trans jokes. So yeah, it's not, I don't think it's in any way making fun of trans people. So yeah, I mean, if you're somebody that, you know, you're maybe shying away from this because you're worried that it might be making fun of you as a person, if you consider yourself to be one thing or the other, I don't think it's making fun of you or anybody else. I think it's just, it uses the fact that this dude cross-dresses for this job like as a tool to tell the story. I mean, that's how I feel about it, but I mean, maybe somebody else might not see it that way. But I mean, I like the artwork a lot, and like I said, it's just extremely lewd, extremely over the top, and I've loved every second of this story. And one thing that I love about Akira Hiramoto is that he does like drama so well, but the drama is like the most asinine things out. Like it'll be like, yeah, it'll just be like the most asinine thing out. Like, yeah, like let's say there was like a soda in the fridge and like you were thirsty, you saw the soda, you grabbed the soda, it's your friend's soda, and your friend's like, hey, who drank my soda? And then like suddenly like you get like this intense like drama face, like sweat starts pouring down your face, and you're like, oh, that's like the kind of mundane just nonsense that Akira Hiramoto like makes like frames in like just the most dramatic ways possible. And I'll show you some screens of stuff like that where like it's just framed like so intensely, like you just murdered somebody. Like the framing for like just the most random things is hilarious. And yeah, I love this manga so much, dude. So like I would recommend this to like anybody for any reason that, you know, is into just like really raunchy, really random, like irreverent manga. And yeah, I think between like Prison School and this, I think this for me wins out. I still got to finish the last 2 volumes. I haven't finished them yet, but I have read the first 4, and yeah, I've had a total blast with this. I've not been bored with this story like at literally any point in time. I don't think I've been bored like whatsoever. So yeah, that's Akira Hiramoto's Raw Hero. So the last one we got today, the last manga that I'm going to talk with you all about, is one that's actually really good, and this is called Nana and Kaoru. I didn't think I was going to like this. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not think I was going to like this manga. I got it because at the point that I picked this up was like when I was set, you know, it was like full sale. Like I'm doing the Lewd manga video. What can I pick up that's going to be like really raunchy but not be hentai? How close can I get to hentai without actually, you know, falling into the hentai territory? And like Amazon like kept recommending this to me. Like it just would non-stop recommend me this manga. I don't know if anybody watching this video has also been recommended this manga on Amazon. I don't know if it's just like that Faku has like been giving Amazon like tons of money to push this or whatever, but I saw it up there and I kind of liked the artwork, and I do really like the artwork contained within, but I saw this artwork and I was like, all right, I'll buy it. I didn't buy it from Amazon though. I got it from Right Stuff. I got it from Right Stuff Anime because Right Stuff had it for much cheaper, and I got it during one of their year-end sales. So typically this is like a $30 manga, and I think, yeah, it's right there, like $30. This is typically like a $30 manga, but I got it for like $22 or something like that from Riot Stuff, and I picked up a bunch of other stuff. And I think I actually picked this up at the same time that I picked up like I Am the Hero, but the Demon Lord is also me or whatever. God damn, this dude is just like snoring up a storm. But yeah, like I picked these up like pretty much like at the same time, and I was not expecting to enjoy Nana and Kaoru nearly as much as I did. I genuinely did not. I didn't think it was going to be a good story. I thought it was going to suck. I genuinely thought that this was going to suck. I was like, I'm just going to buy this to read it for this video, and then I'm probably going to end up selling it, getting rid of it. But no, I'm going to pre-order volume 2. Like, that's how much I enjoyed this. Even though, like, I really wanted to read much more of it. But I'm, like, right there. And it's, like, a really dense story. But what I will say is, I was expecting it to be much more lewd than it is. And I kind of wanted to, like, get some other opinions about it. I typically don't do that. You know, like, I don't like to know what other people think about a thing until I've read the thing myself, and then I go and look for other people's opinions. But because this was just, it was so jarring to me that it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Like, I went into this expecting it to be like full-blown hentai, considering that that's released by Faku. Like, I was like expecting this to just be like full-blown hentai, but no, this is like BDSM light. This is like, the way somebody described it on Reddit was like, this, like, was described it as like, I forgot what they said, but if I can find the comment, if I can find the person's comment from Reddit, I'll post it right here. But the way they described it was so funny to me, dude, because I hadn't even thought about it, but it was so accurate. The fact that, like, there is like a lot of like BDSM stuff going on, and for the most part, this manga is essentially about, like, you know, BDSM. This girl right here who is like a bookworm. She studies really hard, and she has like no real outlet for all of her pent up, you know, emotions and all the things she's got going on in her life. And she's just so focused on trying to like advance herself academically and whatnot. And that's like the whole of her existence. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have like her childhood friend, who is named Kaoru, who is like a total degenerate, like a total pervert. Like, he daydreams about tying her up. And he's really into like BDSM and just like fetish stuff and whatnot. And like, he learns about how to like do knots with ropes and just do all of these things. And he has like toys, and he has all like this random like sex stuff, you know, that he collects, and his mom knows about it, which is kind of random. Like, he's in high school or whatever, and like his mom knows about it, and like she always tries to throw his pervert stuff away. And it's definitely surprised me like how good this story actually is. Like, these characters are so much fun, and I always have that one gripe that the dudes in these sorts of stories are bland, like they have like zero personality, and it's the girls that have all the personality. But then typically the girls usually all share the same kind of personality. What I really like about this story is that both of these characters have essentially like unique personalities, and like they're fully fleshed out people. Like, he is a total pervert, but he's also really respectful of the girl's boundaries in this, and he's not trying to have sex with her. And from what I've read so far, they don't have any sex at all. They're essentially like friends, and they're still, for the most part, really super duper in the friend zone. But they help each other out, where like she wants to be in a sense where she wants to essentially be like dominated, and he wants to dominate, but there isn't like really any sex involved at all. And I'm not really like in that world. I don't really know much about it, so I can't, you know, speak to any aspect of it. But I really like their relationship a lot. You know, that there is a pretty considerable level of respect, you know, on Kaoru's part for Nana, to where like he's not trying to take advantage of her, and he always tells her at every point of this, at every step of the way, like, you know, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. If there's anything you don't want to do, you can say, you know, that you're done, and we'll stop right then and there, and it won't go any further. And I really like that a lot. I really respect it a lot. You know, that this dude isn't Meliodas, you know, from The Seven Deadly Sins. This takes the characters extremely seriously, and like, I did not expect it to do that. I didn't expect it to be as good as it is, and I'm like not even that far into it. And yeah, like, I want to keep reading it. It's going to take me a while to get through it because of how huge these volumes are, and I'm also in the middle of Berserk Volume 2 right now. So I've been like tackling this and this at the same time. I've been reading both of these mangas simultaneously. I'm not that far into this yet, but I'm reading. This is going to be the next video I'm doing, Berserk. But yeah, I've been reading both of these pretty much at the same time. So I'm reading like 2 huge volumes of manga simultaneously. So the reason that I'm not like dropping like a ton of videos like just back to back is that like I've been doing like a lot of heavy lifting, you know, like literally and figuratively with the stuff that I'm reading, that I'm trying to like, I want to finish this so that I can do a review of the first 2 volumes of these big boy volumes. I'm going to do them like chapter, I guess. Like I'm going to say how many ever chapters are collected in these deluxe volumes. I'm going to do them. The next video is going to be by the chapter, whatever chapter 1 to whatever chapter this ends on. That's going to be my Let's Review for Berserk. And I wanted to read as much of this as possible, so it's like I'm trying to juggle both at the same time. I'm trying to get enough read of this so that I can get that video ready to go. And I was trying to get enough read of this to where I feel comfortable to talk about this story and not... I'm like almost 300 pages in, I think, at this point. And I wanted to, you know, get far enough in to where like I do this video and it's just like, okay, you know, I've read enough of Nana and Kaoru to where like I get who these characters are, I get where they are, I get where they're going, and you know, and like I do want to get to know them better. I want to know more about them. I do recommend it if you're into that sort of thing. It's not like hardcore like whatsoever. There is definitely like bondage stuff going on, but it's really respectful for the female character, and she is a fully fleshed out character as far as, I mean, to me she seems like it. You know, she isn't just there for this other dude to, you know, get his rocks off. Like, she benefits from it as well. She's getting something out of it. They're both equally getting something out of it, and there isn't any, you know, more give than there is take. You know, it feels like they're on equal footing at all times, and I really respect that a lot. And it's not like a lot of the other Lewd stuff that I've read, and, you know, like I went into it expecting one thing and I got something completely different. So I really respect it, you know, for doing that. I don't know if you've all read all of these, or if you haven't read any of these, or if you're just watching this video because you like to see me talk about things. I wouldn't recommend this, you know, just this dude is just snoring like crazy. I wouldn't just like out of the blue recommend this to anybody, because I really don't think this is that great of a story. I mean, I read it for the video, and I got like 2 more volumes of it, so I'll keep reading it. I really wouldn't recommend this either. Like, this is like super paper thin. I'd only recommend these like if you're the kind of person that likes this sort of manga. You like super scandalous and scandally clad and just like super perverted manga. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if that's what you're into. But if I was to start recommending things, it would probably be like Raw Hero. Like I said before, I would 100% recommend Raw Hero. I would recommend this simply because it is Hiroya Oku, and there are parts of it that are really dark and really brutal, and I really am. I'm a fan of that stuff. I'm a huge fan of like seinen manga, and this is way better written than either of these. So I would recommend this based on that. That it's actually a lot better written, and there's a lot more fun stuff going on with like just how dark it is and the characters involved, and there is a much more adult kind of element to it. And yeah, you know, even though she's in a relationship with an underage dude, it does get brought up in the story, and it does, you know, the parents and the people in the story are like, what the hell are you doing, you know, dating a 16-year-old? So it is essentially aware of that. But more than anything, I would recommend this, and I would really recommend this as well. So if I was going to recommend anything, it would be these 2. Like, yeah, I would definitely recommend these 2 more than anything. I want to finish this because, like, I've really enjoyed this story. I'm not really, like, into BDSM. It's not something that I am personally a fan of. I don't have anything against it. I have friends that are into it. Since I was a teenager, I've had friends that were, like, super into that stuff. And I had friends that used to, like, just bite me for whatever reason. You know, like, when I was a teenager, like, these girls would just come up and just start biting me, and I'd be like, what the fuck? But there are girls that are into that. You know, they were into it, they were teenagers, they're into it now as adults. And yeah, so I've always in a sense been around it, even though I never got absorbed into it. But I respect, you know, whatever other people are into. You know, I'm not here to kink shame anybody. I'm not here to shame anybody for any reason. I mean, I did read all of these manga series, even though it's not really something that I would typically read myself. And I'm probably not going to do another video like this again. because as you can see from most of the stuff around me, that's not really my thing. I like a lot of like seinen. I like a lot of like more darker stories, you know, like brooding or whatever, because that's the kind of person I am. That's the kind of person I am. I'm a brooding edgelord. I'm a brooding edgelord who likes death metal and seinen manga. So that's all I have for you. I'm extremely grateful that you watched this video. I've got a lot of stuff coming this year. I want to just fill it up with tons of projects. I have like big projects that I want to do. I'm going to do smaller projects as well, just for the sake of, you know, being able to get out videos, and we'll see what happens. I want to make this an even bigger year for the channel. The subs are climbing. I'm really grateful for everybody that's been joining me. Yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. It means the world to me that you took time out of your day to spend it with me. And yeah, I can't wait to see you all in the next video. If you've read any of these, I'd love to know your thoughts. Or if you're into lewd manga, recommend me some stuff that you like, that you think that I would enjoy checking out. Or just manga in general. You know, it doesn't have to be lewd. Just recommend me stuff. Yeah. Take care of yourselves. I hope all is well in your life.
By the hands of God, I stand as a wrench between your wheeling cog. Fastening my belt, bracing myself to withstand against all odds. Himself shadow runners, battle ready, murder dogs. Rip the skin off your horses, triumph to smash the sorceress. Lethal forces, the failure of your ambitions is more painful than divorces. Smash its own piece on the doorway, when the door hits, that's it. Call it quits, zipped up in plastic, cremated, melted like elastic. Dreams don't mean shit, in this life they don't exist.